Hello all, we are coming to you live from Tech Zone on another warm and sunny December day that doesn't feel like winter as you join us for the Beyond the Arc Coaches Show. I am your host, Brandon Hurley, sports editor at the Jefferson Herald, and I am once again joined by Greene County girls basketball head coach Dean Lyons. Today we will be recapping the first week of the 2017-2018 season, a 5-day span which saw Greene County on the hardwood 3 different times, and the Rams certainly seized the opportunity and came out hot, producing their first 2-0 start in 4 years with wins over Ogden and Perry on Monday and Tuesday. In the season opener, Greene County edged Ogden 46-35 on the road, then charged back from a 13-point first quarter deficit to defeat rival Perry at home 63-52 on Tuesday, November 30th. The Rams were trailing 19-6 at one point through 8 minutes against Perry, but outscored the Jets 57-34 for the rest of the way, including a second quarter that saw them put up 25 points. The victory was Greene County's first in the rivalry in 10 years, and the excitement and relief was quite visible following the game as the players were ecstatic just on the court and in the locker room. And the 63 points was Greene County's most since January 2015, led by a double-double from Dean Lyons, 21 points and 12 rebounds. But then, unfortunately, on Friday, the Rams fell short of a 3-0 start, losing 50-34 to Gilbert in their Heart of Iowa opener. They trailed just by 5 at the break, but third quarter, where the shots were hard to come by, found Gilbert take a 15-5 advantage in that quarter, and then the Rams stayed close, but they couldn't pull out the victory. Dean Lyons is leading the Rams at 17 points a game through the first 3 games. Annika Delp is averaging 8 rebounds a game, and the Rams as a team are averaging 10 steals a game. So you're already halfway to your win total this year with 2 wins. It's 2-1 start. So how big was last week just to kind of set the tone for the team?
Last week was huge. It was a nice way to start the week. We wanted to start off on a positive note, and we did 2-0. And like you said, beating Perry and Ogden, it just was a confidence builder for the girls. The Perry win was just astronomical. Just watching the girls have fun out there and seeing that they can come back and play with teams and even win against teams was very nice. And I think you'll see that as the year progresses along, that we're going to be in a lot of games, even with our loss. We were really kind of hanging around, and like you said, some shots didn't go, but we're there. And so the first couple games was nice. We didn't have to wait 5 or 6 before we got our first win, and we're going to build on it.
So kind of talking about that loss on Friday, I was talking with you after the game. It felt different than games compared to last year. A lot of times in losses, the games would snowball, and then you guys would get careless with the ball, and then it would just keep growing from there. But more or less, it was kind of a difference of shots not being able to fall on Friday. Is that something that you noticed too, just the difference between the losses? Exactly.
That's what we noticed. We talked to the girls afterwards that, that game could have blossomed into a 30-point loss. In the past, we would lose by 25, 30 points to them. It was. We handled the ball pretty decent. We were still playing pretty decent defense. We just had some shots that didn't go, and a 16-point loss could have been easily right around 8-6 in the ball game, and they never gave up, and that's something that you'll see this year. I think they'll fight to the end, and you can just tell, like you said, it was a different feel. It was a loss, and we got a lot of things to work on, but you could just feel it wasn't a normal loss that we've had in the last couple of years.
So going back to the first game of the year, kind of what was the story of that game against Ogden, and how were you able to kind of get on top and get that first victory?
Excuse me. Well, the Ogden game was our first game. I felt we were a little, it's your first game jitters. You were a little timid, and the big thing, we had a run right before halftime. I think we were down six points, right around there somewhere, and then Samantha Hardaway hit a clutch 1 or 2 free throws. Lauren came down with under a minute, hit a nice 3, and then Bailey Cunningham stole the ball, and we went from down to up at halftime, and that was a big momentum changer. And that usually happens to us, that the people make the runs on us and kind of put us out of the game. Mm-hmm. We were fortunate enough to put the run on Ogden, and you could see that the confidence was building in our girls, and you could see the Ogden girls were kind of like, well, what just happened? And so I think that was a big tell in the first game. We came out the second half, and we played with much more confidence. We just things about this team. What is nice is first 2 games we had 7 of our 8 people that played scored. I mean, yeah, Lauren gets her points in this, but it's more than just Lauren on this team. I mean, Bailey Cunningham stepped up the first game, then Cassie Lemoy the second game came off the bench. Then you have Samantha Hardaway's playing well. Annika and Ashley are playing down low. You know, they're our big girls down low. They're doing well. Even though she didn't score the first 2 games, Reagan Lemoy is playing great defense for me. And then Izzy Bavard, she comes off the bench with such energy. And so it's a combination this year of not just one girl. If they do key on Lauren, we got numerous girls that have stepped up so far only after 3 games and have made us a better team.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed too. Like you talk about that depth and other girls getting points. I mean, one thing I've noticed is Annika's able to make that about 12 to 15 foot jumper, something that you didn't really see her produce last year. And then, like you said, Sam Hardaway had some big, long shots in the Perry win, and then Bailey has been really consistent through the first games too.
Yes,
so
yes.
I've noticed that too.
Yes, it's kind of I have confidence on my bench, you know, and they have confidence in themselves, and we got a nice combination of older girls and younger girls, as I call them, and they just every night it could be somebody different, and every night everybody does contribute, either on the defensive end, on the rebounding. Annika's done a lot better at that job this year, rebounding and shooting that 10, 12-foot shot you're talking about. And, I've been pretty happy with the way we've been playing.
So in that Perry game, you guys fell down 19-6 right after the first quarter, and kind of what we've been talking about already is that maybe last year's team or previous teams would have just kind of fell down and let that go, but you made that switch you made a defensive switch in the second quarter, and then you guys kind of just caught fire, and then were within 1 at halftime and then just took the lead and never looked back. So what do you think was that difference between the first quarter and the second quarter?
Well, I think the first quarter, let's be honest, we played Perry. These girls have played Perry since 5th grade, and they've always kind of took us to the woodshed. And I think starting out, we thought we could win, but we thought, oh, here it goes. You know, we were missing some shots, and we were taking some bad shots, forcing some turnovers and stuff like that. And I think it was kind of like, here we go again. We're going to lose for 30 points, 25. Perry's going to stick it to us. And they just weren't playing what I thought they were capable of playing. So at the start of the second quarter, we had a little talk in the huddle and kind of discussed some things, and just basically told them they weren't playing that I know they could play. And we did. I feel the key of the game was we switched up our defense. We ran a half-court trap. And for some reason, these girls love that half-court trap. I mean, in practice, they run it and they love it. It's hard work running a half-court trap, but I got those girls that want to do it, and they bought into it. And we threw that half-court trap on, and I'm telling you, it couldn't have worked any better. I mean, they forced turnovers, bad passes, bad shots, and then we came down and hit some key shots. And I think that was the momentum changer right there, and then we just never looked back after that.
And I know, talking with you after the game, you said Coach Lamora told you this too, is a kind of a momentum-changing, program-changing type win. Is that something that you still feel is? Was that?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, it was a team like you said, we haven't beat. Greene County hasn't beaten 10 years, and they've always took it to us. And I think it was a big. We turned the corner, like Coach Lamore said. It was a big win, huge win for us. I know it was early in the year, and you got people say, "How can you say that?" Well, you can if you knew the story of our basketball program. And that was just a big, huge win and confident win, and it was fun to see the girls enjoying a win, and we actually did to them what usually happens to us. And I think you'll see that's going to be the big turning point of the year, and we're going to lose games. There's no doubt about it, but you're going to see that we can come back and we can do things, and it was a big win.
So kind of on the flip side of that, what are some things that you think, just through that first week, what are some things that you think you need to work on further in the season?
Well, I think that most definitely Gilbert was a very good team. I mean, Gilbert's kind of like Perry, has always had our number, and I think we took a step closer to them, but they played some great defense. I mean, we got to give them credit. We had some great shots, but they just weren't going, but they were always hand in our face, and so we had to work a little bit better away from the ball to get open a little bit better. I felt that was our first game. They had a big, nice post, and we have to work a little bit on our post players, defending that a little better, and just away from the ball and a little bit confidence. I mean, like you said, they could have put us away, but they really didn't, because credit to our girls, that we never gave up and we kept working hard. But we work on our ball handling a little bit better, a little bit movement away from the ball, and a little bit on the defensive end on their post. And I think we get that going our way, we'll be all right.
So speaking of that ball handling, that's something that I've noticed is kind of improved from this year to last year. What do you think has been the key to being able to take care of the ball better just through the first three games of the year?
That's a good question. Well, I will tell you, a lot of these girls worked in the off season, and you hear that a lot from coaches, and it really is true. I mean, they put some time in the gym. Some of them played AAU ball. We had stuff this summer, like every Sunday and Wednesdays, and we went and scrimmaged some teams. So I think a lot of it is you got to keep that ball in your hand. You just can't put the ball down in February or March and then expect to pick it up in November. So I think we did a lot this summer and worked on it. And a lot of it comes with confidence too. We have, instead of maybe one ball handler, we got 2, 3, maybe even go down to the fourth. So that makes it hard. A lot of teams early on have tried to press us, but we do have the ball handling this year, and we've been able to break it pretty decent. So it's a tough question. It's just a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah, I think that confidence is a big point. Like you said, I mean, at times last year it looked like your girls panicked a little bit when the press would come on and they didn't know what to do and they'd kind of just throw it just to throw it. But this year it looks like they're more focused on where they're going to throw it, where they're going to go with the ball, and it's shown so
I agree.
far.
And I would have to say one thing on that is these girls have all been around. I know some of these are sophomores, but for the last 2-3 years in the summer they've played with these older girls. But something to do that these girls know where their teammates are going to be. I mean, when one's bringing it down, they know there's going to be one here. So I think it has something to do with it. You're kind of a family, close knit, and you kind of feed off each other. And I think we have all that, which is contributing to some success early on.
So speaking of the early adversity you've faced already this year, and you've already made comebacks, but is there when you have the girls in the huddle, is there something you notice that is kind of different from in the past of them just when they're down? Is there a different look to them or anything like that you've noticed?
I think most definitely. I think what it is we've preached and preached for a lot of years is, why do we have to be the one that takes the beating all the time? Like our motto, be the hammer, not the nail. So I'm always, and coaches always preaching at them, hey, let's be the hammer tonight. And in practice, we say that a lot. Let's get after, let's be the hammer. Why does Perry have to? Why do we have to be the nail all the time? So I see that that's been pounded into them a lot, and I see that they're thinking, you know what, we can do this. We can do this, and we don't have to be one of those teams that goes 2 or 3 and 20. We can maybe give people some of what they've been giving us back. So they've just bought into it. It's just weird when you look them on the bench and you're talking to them, and they're really focused on you. You're thinking, you know what, I think these girls are going to get it, and so far we have.
So now you have a weird quirk in the schedule. After playing 3 games in 5 days, you have a 6-day layoff. So what are you kind of doing in practice to keep those girls from getting rusty and kind of falling off a little bit? Well,
we're going to change practice up. We'll have practice Monday and Tuesday, and we're going to go hard. And then Wednesday, it won't be as hard. It'll be kind of a pre-game thing. We'll lighten off a little bit. Then we come back Thursday and Friday. So I think we'll do some different drills. Like today, the whole practice is going to be about defense. And we're just gonna defensive drills, work on what hurt us against Gilbert and press breaker and our press, and kind of do that, change some things up, and just different drills. And then we'll come back tomorrow, Tuesday, with a lot of offense, a lot of fast break, a lot of running our offense. And then Wednesday it'll be a little bit more relaxed. But it is tough when you go 5 days, because as a coach you're trying to find things that keep them focused. And sometimes that's hard, and especially when you get to about January, it is extremely hard. So we're just going to try to change things up. We got some younger people that are going to come up and practice with us a little bit and try to help them out and just kind of work. These seniors are pretty good. There are a bunch of group of seniors that get along with the younger classmen, and so it's kind of a family thing, and we'll just see what happens.
So before we continue going, of course, I'd like to thank our sponsors today. We're, of course, coming from live from Tech Zones. They're one of our big sponsors, and also our other sponsors are Doc Stadium and Moo Meat. So, of course, thank you very much to them for allowing us to do this. Without them, we wouldn't be where we are here today. So that opponent that you're playing on Thursday is Sadell, a team that you had their number last year. You swept them. But with that being said, what kind of things are you telling your girls to not let them get too overconfident and overlook Sadell, a team that's not exactly one of the top teams in the state.
Correct. First of all, we're not even into that level where we can just show up. We're not even close to being there. Don't get me wrong. We've had some success early, but we got a long ways to go. We're not even close to just, hey, we're here, Sadell, give us the win. So games like that scare me because we've had some success with them, and I think we could show up. And they're playing, even though they got losses, they've been playing people tough. And so we've just been trying to stay focused. We'll break it down tomorrow on who's going to guard who, and today and tomorrow, and talk about their scores, talk about who they're playing. It's at Des Moines. Talk about it's tough playing down there, and it's a little bit more physical game down there, which is okay by us. We like the physical stuff, but we just try to stay focused that we're not that good that we can just show up. We still have to go out and play hard. We're going to try to take it. We're going to take it just like we're playing Gilbert or Perry, And one time, I would just like us to come out and beat a team by 20 or 30 because it makes it a lot easier on coaches in the bench. But we'll take them any way we can. If it's 1 point or none, it's still a win. But just trying to tell them that we're not that good yet to just take teams for granted.
So this is a beginning of a tough stretch where you play PCM on Friday and then top 10 ranked Rolling Story next Tuesday. So how important it is to get that win on Thursday to kind of just kickstart that little stretch run.
And that is true. I mean, it is a big win. It's one that we need to get. There's no doubt about it. That'd make us 3-1, and I really think we have a great opportunity to beat PCM. They're not as strong as last year, but they're still extremely good. And then, like you said, next week we got North Polk at the Well, and then we got Rolling Story, so those will be tough. So this game is pretty big. We need it to get to that 3-1 mark because the games are going to get tougher, of course. And I think if we can get that 3-1, I think you'll see PCM. I think it'll be a pretty good game Friday night too.
So what are you expecting from PCM on the offensive wise?
Well, I'm horrible with names, just horrible with names, and the girls will tell you that. Coach, that's not who you're talking about. This is this girl, and they always tell me names because I always butcher them. But they have a really good girl. She's a sophomore.
I think her name's Reagan Freeland.
That's who it is. Thank you very much. She's really good. I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to put Bailey Cunningham on her, and that's what she did. She was on the Do girl and Perry, and we're going to go man. I mean, our best defense is man, and so if we can stop her, I feel they got a lot of other good ball players. Don't get me wrong, but if we can stop her limit her points, I think we'll be all right. So it's just we're going to try to match up the best we can, and play with intensity, and hopefully this week I really think we have a chance to get 2 wins. I really, really do. Now I tell you that we'll be talking here in a while, and maybe we don't get both of them, but I really think we have a good chance to get both wins, and that would be huge going into next week, the following week, because those are 2 of the probably toughest teams we're going to play all year. So confidence-wise, yes. I mean, let's be honest. If we don't get at least one of these next 2, confidence-wise, we could be in a little trouble, but I don't see it with these girls. They bounce back pretty good. I mean, in the locker room after Friday night, I mean, you're disappointed you lost, but they were really concerned. I mean, they weren't, okay, coach, we're disappointed, let's go. But they were really upset, and so I think you're going to see them bounce back.
So, speaking of PCM, staying with them here, what do you expect from them on defense, and how do you plan to kind of attack them and get some points?
Well, I think on defense they'll go man. As I told the team, they're going to stick their best defender on Lauren, and then the other girls, which have done a great job, will pick it up. So they're going to go man. They're going to probably they'll watch game film of us playing the last game we played at Gilbert, and they're going to see that really get on them, tight defense, make them work for the shot, and that's what we're going to work on this week. And I think you're going to see that a lot. The teams are going to try to put a little bit more pressure on it. We're a lot better than what we had before, and we just need to get a little bit better. So defensively, I see that. I see him going man. I think sometime you're going to see a team go zone on us because, we're okay outside shooting team, but we like to penetrate and bang it. I wouldn't be surprised if they run a little zone against us, but it doesn't scare me as much as in the years past because we do have some outside shooters. Samantha can hit him. I've seen Bailey hit him. Lauren can hit him. So I think they'll do a little mixture of everything, and we're going to mix it up too on the defensive end. And to be honest with you, I think you'll see more half-court traps from us. I like to save it, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if Thursday against Sadell we start off in it and maybe try to initiate get them in a hole right away.
Yeah, because that's something that you haven't really seen yet this year is getting a big lead early. You come back against Ogden, you came back against Perry, and you were kind of neck and neck in the first half against Gilbert. So Is that something you want to just get out there and try to get a lead right away against Sadell?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of times I'm a little conservative sometimes. I think too much, maybe this, maybe that. But I think against Sadell, I've been kind of teetering a little bit, but thinking about starting off in a little half-court trap, putting some pressure on them, and maybe we can separate from them early and keep it going. And if we can stay out of foul trouble, which we've had so far pretty decent, I think that's what we might do. Put some pressure on them early right away and see if we can build a lead. I think they're a team, if we can build a lead, that they'll start thinking like we were last year, here we go, here it goes, here it goes. So I'm thinking about doing it. But I don't know. I go back and forth.
So now that the first week of the season's out of the way, and we've already kind of touched on it already, but what would you say are one of your two biggest takeaways so far just from the first week of the season?
Well, for me, it was fun. I think it was for the girls. Winning cures a lot of things. Winning is fun, as we all know. It was fun. It was great. We went into the year, we wanted to get, the girls want to win, and the girls wanted people to come and watch them. And I said, let's be strictly honest. The only way you're going to get people in here to watch you is if we win. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable for the fans to come and watch you. And boy, I'll tell you what, they did. I mean, it was enjoyable and it was fun, that Perry game. So I take that away from them. I think I take away that the girls, like we've said many times, have bought into it, and I think they think they can win. They can win. And I think we're farther ahead at this point than I thought we would be. I'm not going to lie to you. We came out pretty good the first couple games, and so I take that away. It's a long season, and you're going to have ups and downs. There's no doubt about it. But I took away that the effort's been there all three games, and the attitude's been awesome. Just been great. The girls in practice, over years. I've coached long enough. Some years you have people that fight, nitpick or whatever, but I have not seen it. Sure, you're going to have this and that, but they have really responded well, and they get along well, and they do a lot of things together, and they have activities. So I'm very happy with it.
So speaking of that coaching, this is kind of a pivot here a little bit. Just you've coached a lot of girls over the year. You've coached several different sports. So, and you've got a lot of girls on this team that play several different sports throughout the year. So to you as a coach, how important is it for high school athletes to not focus on specialization but play different sports throughout the year and throughout their high school careers?
Well, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Some people might not like this or not, but I think kids should go out for more than one sport. I did it when I was in high school. All my kids have been out to either 3 or 4 sports a year. My daughter right now is in 3 sports. I think it just makes you an all-around better athlete. I think it makes you, I think it makes you a better athlete. I think it makes you use different muscles, you use different things. I think it just makes you stronger. I'm not for one sport. I understand why people do it. I get it. I really do get it. But I just think athletes that are in more than one sport are better rounded when I get them. They just seem to and you don't have to be a star in all 4 sports. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to be a star. But I think it's just being part of that teamwork. And I think what happens is we get too many people specializing in one sport, then let's be honest, it hurts the other sports too. Because, maybe you're concentrating on basketball and that's your sport, but you're not going out for softball. And maybe you're a starter in softball, but now you're not playing softball. So it kind of hurts the whole team. And so I like to see girls that go out. And we do have a lot of girls on our basketball team, which is nice, that go out for 3 or 4 sports. Now, granted, as a coach, sometimes I want to steal them from the volleyball coach or the softball coach. We all have to share. But you know what? That's a nice thing to have if we're all fighting over one girl that's out for 3 or 4 sports. I just think it's a better deal. And
just outside of the sports-wise, do you think it just shapes a person better just as a person, otherwise with the schedule and then kind of just working together with different people? You think there's a hidden benefit there too?
Most definitely. I mean, and like you just said, the scheduling and working out, you're doing basketball one day, softball the next day, and then a big aspect, I think it will pay over when you're an adult and stuff, because you're experiencing other things. You're experiencing other than one thing. You're getting outside your bubble too. I mean, and let's be totally honest, people like to hear it, but how many of these kids are really going to go on to well, definitely pros, but definitely to a college. I mean, you have them, and it's awesome, but you specialize in one sport, and maybe the college doesn't come. Think what you've missed out on the
you
other
have
sports.
maybe regrets there. I should have done this, should have done that.
Yes, I hate to see that. And I've had people say, no lie, come up to me and say, Coach, I should have went out for basketball, or I should have went out for track, or whatever. And so that's just my opinion, and you'll probably have coaches that say you're crazy, but that's the way I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a big topic right now too. I mean, you see it more and more especially with AAU. You can pick that sport, and then you can go through it all the way through, and then just forget about the other sports.
I will tell you this: you're exactly right. AAU has changed the environment. It has. When I first started coaching with my sons and my daughter, AAU really wasn't. It was around, but it wasn't huge. It really wasn't. And then it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you want to get better, a lot of them will say, and if you want coaches to notice you, you do this AAU. And just an experience with my daughter, I was never for AAU. And my oldest son, Aaron, my youngest son, Aaron, said, Dad, she has to do AAU. And I said, nah. So we fought back and forth. And I let her play this summer. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's made her a better ball player, but it's really time consuming. And she played softball. A lot of times after softball, she'd run and go play. And I get it. And it has made her ball player, but that's a lot of time to put in. And I do think that you have to have breaks, because I see a lot of injuries if you stay and focus on one sport all the time. And so AU has changed it, and I think AU is just going to get bigger and bigger. And I don't know what the right answer is, though.
Yeah, exactly. Because I can see, like you said, I can see the positive and negatives of both sides. In a way, it develops the players, but then in a way, it kind of waters down the high school product. You see it a lot more in probably soccer. Like a lot of high school soccer, you don't see a lot of the bigger players playing high school soccer. At least when I was in high school, a lot of them played select soccer, club soccer,
right,
and that's where they got noticed. And to a certain degree, especially with the bigger high schools and bigger metropolitan areas, you see them really succeed in AAU, and then you see them maybe play in high school, and they're like, wait, why is this person so hyped? Because it's because they're showcasing their skills in AAU more. Maybe they're at times, like Harrison Barnes, when I went and watched him, at times you could see him dominate a high school game, but you'd be like, what's so special about him?
Right.
Then he was in AAU and he would dominate. So there are definitely positives and negatives to both sides, and
that's a true story.
And there is probably no easy answer for that too, because a lot of companies make money off of Adidas and Nike and whatnot. So, but that's a whole different story. We don't need to touch on that.
Yeah. But Lauren, my daughter, had a teammate that she played with her this summer, and she was good. She was a good AAU ball player. Then I've noticed, and she's been recruited, just exactly what you said. But I've noticed at the high school level, she doesn't play as much, or does it? And if you didn't know it, she played this summer, you'd think, how is she going to college to play this? But it's the coaches, they look in the summer in basketball at these AAU things, and it's a different world now. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was just high school, but it's different.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like you said, there's no easy answer for it. So, and we probably won't see it change anytime soon either.
Yes.
So, well, I know we got off on a little tangent there, but I mean, thanks to everyone. That'll probably wrap it up for today. Thanks to everyone for viewing in and watching. Next week we'll be live from Dock Stadium, and I'll be joined with Greene County boys head coach Chris Nelson. He kind of recap the first 2 weeks of the season. So until then, thanks a lot, and see you next week.